Blow this popsicle stand, boys.
Kaboom.
Yes, Rico. Kaboom.
Before we get this video underway, I did just want to tell you guys that unfortunately I have been unwell. That's why there hasn't been any major videos for a while, and you can hear it in my voice. I'm still not fully there, but I wanted to get the grenades video out for you guys, so here it is. Grenades, these teeny tiny little balls blowing up, were the OG tar bottles, but the uncool and crappier cut. Here is Bubbles' old and new dialogue for buying the grenades.
And there. I've got plenty of these crates in the back, but I reckon you need it more than me. These are pretty good for clearing out crowds. I've seen these used in Navy battles, but I'm sure it'll be useful against those vampires.
Okay, so let's move on to the stats of these guys. It costs 250 francs, which is the same price as the tar bottles. It varies in damage and range dependent on where you throw it and how close to the zombies it is. I'll get to this point a bit later. It also has 3 grenades in your inventory, similar to the tar bottles, and it has a 5-second fuse, which can be cooked in your inventory to throw it with a shorter fuse time. There are also 2 options to throw it. You can do a regular throw, which is just throwing it regularly, and an underthrow, which is sort of rolling it around on the ground. This is dictated by the icon on the right of your screen. The regular throwing is good for going over walls and other obstacles, and underthrowing is good to get amongst oncoming hordes, especially in tighter environments. Apart from being purchased in the store, you can pick up grenades in 2 places on maps. The first is from the Russian hobo in St. Petersburg with the grenade crate. In there you get 15 grenades, which of course you can share amongst your teammates. You can also get free grenades in Korb at the drawbridge, when of course you want to blow up the drawbridge, you can then grab the grenades from the thing, and regardless of if you're throwing the grenades or not, still 3 free grenades. And of course, as usual, I'll talk about its uses per class. Infantry, the class of guts and Blackpowder. The grenades have a few good spots and maps, mostly repeats from my tar bottle video, just chuck them in holes, areas you know zombies are going to be. But as an infantryman and the other classes, it's difficult to judge when and where to throw the grenades, since it is of course on a timer. It is plainly difficult to accurately determine when and where to throw one. Sure, it could work in tight spaces, but the tar bottle can just do better in most cases. The grenade isn't any better for Officer, unfortunately. Continuing on the insults to the grenades, it doesn't quite have that instant feedback that the tar bottle has. You really need to calculate and determine when and where you want to use the grenade, and even then, it can be difficult to determine. Sometimes you'll get a great throw, other times you'll miss the horde entirely, thanks of course to the zombies' AI. With the tar bottle, it's just better. For Seaman, I found it a little bit more useful than the other classes. I enjoyed using it a touch more because it's a little bit different to the Seaman's primary weapon, which is already an instant action horde clearing weapon. However, as much as it is fun to have a different way of killing zombies, the tar bottle is just better still. And this is part of the problem behind the grenade. The tar bottle just overshadows it completely. As for Sapper, it is mostly the same story. Granted, while the grenades are better in the fact that you won't get pinned by fire if you throw it wrong, you'll instantly die if you chuck a grenade, it lands at your feet, and you don't see it because on darker maps like Korb, it is pretty hard to see that teeny tiny little black ball of gunpowder. With Cuirassier, I thought it would be a bit better because the Cuirass has an explosive resistance. But unfortunately, I misread the wiki and there is in fact no resistance against your own grenades as a Cuirassier. However, the Cuirass wearing classes have extra damage dealt to them from fire. And of course with tar bottles, you could occasionally accidentally set yourself on fire. And so to minimize damage dealt to yourself, you can use grenades as a safe option as long as you are aware of where your grenades are, because similar to tar bottles they can bounce around quite a lot. And of course most of the same story as the Cuirassier for the Cuirass Officer. As much as I have crapped on the grenades, they are reasonably okay with the Cuirass wearing classes, based solely on the extra damage they receive from fire. In conclusion, it's an alright alternative for the Cuirassier and the Cuirass Officer, but other than that, the tar bottle just overshadows it completely. Now, I used to not really like the tar bottle, because I used to be an actual nerd and be like, oh, the grenade, I still love the grenade. But no, the grenades stink, the tar bottles are amazing. Like, for the same price, the tar bottles just do the grenade's job way better. And so if you had to spend 250 francs, you should spend it on the tar bottles. The grenades are not worth it.